And on the line with us, Mimi Kennedy, the actress, activist, writer, board chair with Progressive Democrats of America, pdamerica.org, star of the hit series Mom on CBS, pdamerica.org, the website, and you can tweet Mimi at Mimi Kennedy LA, as in Los Angeles. Mimi, welcome back to the program.
It's great to be here, Tom. Yeah.
It is always great having you on. So there is a lawsuit going on in Ohio that echoes previous lawsuits in Arizona and Alabama, and I want to get to those too. Tell me what the essence of this is.
The essence of it is to get the Ohio counties that have pictures of the paper ballots to stop destroying those pictures.
Okay, so my understanding of how this works is you fill in the little circles on the paper ballots, and they run them through the scanners, and those scanners then both count who voted for whom, and they take a picture of each one of those ballots, so that in the event of, because the paper ballots are typically destroyed, do I have this right? And therefore, these ballot images can be used for an audit? Do I have that right?
That's essentially right. In Ohio, when activists won a court case to check out the Kerry Bush paper ballot,
this is a 2004 election.
They found out it took so long, the counties, 55 of them, had destroyed the paper ballots. The ballot images are available right after Election Day.
So this is an audit trail that a lot of us didn't even realize was built into these scanners. And now here we have Alabama. When Alabama and Arizona were sued by Audit USA in 2017, last year, courts ruled in both cases that they had to preserve the ballot images. But then in Alabama, the Republican Secretary of State, John Merrill, went to the Supreme Court and said, we don't want to have to keep the ballot images. And the Supreme Court issued a stay on that lower judge's ruling. Why on earth would Republican election officials not want there to be an audit trail to the voting machines? I don't get this.
Right. Well, that's what's so important about all this. We're finally, I think, we've opened up the snake pit. Oh, look, there's snakes here. Let's get them out so they don't bite people and kill them. And some people are going, no, keep them there. One of the best parts of this strategy of getting ballot images, making them preserved, and then having the public record request be the way to access them, to give the public the right to audit their elections, that's according to Doug Kellner, New York State, where they made that the law, is that when you find a reluctant Secretary of State or a reluctant county, well, you might have a problem there, and it's time for citizen teams to go in there and start watching how they count the vote and asking questions. In an ideal world, and with the Russian blaming for a hack, because everybody knows cybersecurity is sort of non-existent when stakes are really high. With the Russian fear, almost everybody is on board going, we need to audit our elections. What if they're hacked or manipulated? And John Brakey of Audit Arizona found years ago there are these things called ballot images, and more states have them. Yeah. And they're just not using them, and counties have been destroying them in the dark, and we're shining a light.
Now, really with the when John Kerry lost Ohio by just a little over 100,000 votes, and there were almost 200,000 provisional ballots that had not even been opened or counted, and people went in and said, wait a minute, we want to see the ballot images for the non-provisional ballots, for the actual votes that were counted. We'd like to see some proof of this. That election, by the way, the votes were not counted in Ohio. They were counted in Kentucky, was it?
I think so. I don't know all the details of that. Ballot images were not the issue in that Lincoln County case that Cliff Arnebeck was the lawyer for. They wanted to see the paper ballots, as far as I know.
Right.
What happened? And they got the right from the court. But by the time they got the right from the court, out of 88 counties in Ohio, 55 had destroyed their paper ballots.
Right, and nobody knew that they could ask for the ballot images. We didn't even know they existed at that point in time. So, where I was going with this, Mimi, is that under the circumstances of the lawsuit in Ohio in 2004, if the state had preserved the physical ballot, and if Cliff and his friends wanted to go in and audit them, they'd have to go in and walk out with a truckload full of paper and transport that truckload full of paper around the country. You know, if they had, like, say, 1,000 people who said, okay, I'll take, 100 of them and I'll count them and we'll crowdsource this thing, it would have involved massive amounts of shipping and paper moving and logistics. But with ballot images, these are digital files. The state of Ohio could simply say to Cliff Arnebeck, the lawyer who won the case, okay, here are PDFs or digital images or JPEGs or whatever format they're in. Here are the digital images for 1.2 million votes, 1.2 million ballots, and give them to the activists. And the activists could easily develop software, the equivalent of kind of facial recognition, that reads those ballot images so that they could be counted on anybody's laptop. And we could have a real double check of the election in 24 hours, presumably. And this could be done anywhere in the country. Why are we not doing this?
Well, there's two reasons. One, nobody knew there were ballot images, and I don't think 04 in Ohio, the equipment made ballot images. Maybe the BF200 did. But the other reason is that people don't want the public verifying their elections. But the public has woken up and goes, yes, we want to.
You mean Republicans don't want the public verifying their elections?
Well, some Republicans are a little worried about hackability and manipulation, and I like to think that might be because they know something about what operatives have been doing on their side for a while. And I'm not saying the Democrats have never manipulated an election either. But I am saying that it's a nonpartisan effort at this point, and I think Democrats should be entirely behind it, and all progressives, because it's for the voters. It's for the public. This is verifiability for 2018 for sure. And at Audit Arizona, there's a list of the states and the counties that have this equipment. And if you see your county there, go in and say, we want to preserve the ballot images. John Brakey has done this in Arizona. It's very expensive, but he got on it early. Arizona, Alabama, I think that's one reason Doug Jones might have won. They scared the bejesus out of those people. And those county election officials might have been preserving ballot images, even though their Secretary of State didn't want them to. And Ohio now. Ohio in 2016, Petrakis found them turning off the printer that stamped the paper ballots with the same identifying number as the ballot image had. So there's a lot of ways, whack-a-mole, that people have fought having these ballot images there as an audit trail and a public verification. But they're now getting the court to say, absolutely, these are election records. Absolutely, you can't destroy them. Secretary of State, it's on you. You tell your counties, don't destroy these things. Right. New York State has it locked up. They did it. And Doug Kellner has an interesting YouTube explanation where he goes, voter-verified paper audit trail is something we've been calling for a long time. More and more states have it, but it doesn't mean anything unless you do an audit. And It's been so impossible to get your hands on the paper ballots. Your scenario where the trucks go everywhere, you couldn't take the paper ballots out of the election office. They have to be counted there by staff, and the county goes, that'll be $2 million. But with the paper ballot images, you can do what you described, Tom, and that's why.
So has this lawsuit against Ohio been adjudicated, or is it just starting? And what is John Kasich's position on this? He's positioning himself to run for president in 2020. He's the governor of Ohio. Is he gung-ho for election transparency, or is he one of the Republicans who doesn't want us to be able to see how we voted? Crickets out of John Kasich. Okay.
Okay. But this has been a grassroots action, and what's nice is we're not hearing crickets from the judges in the court.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing.
So it'll filter up or filter down.
That's a very good thing. Congress. Indeed. Mimi Kennedy, actor, activist, writer, board chair at Progressive Democrats of America, the website pdamerica.org. She's the star of the hit series Mom on CBS. And you can tweet her at Mimi Kennedy, LA. And of course, at PD America. Mimi, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom.
Always great talking.